Aunties know best. Yes, we do. Aunties know best.
The only thing they don't know is that they can't sing. Other than that, they know.
We know best that we can.
Am I speaking to myself? Hello. So I am your host for today. Welcome to the BBE Podcast Festival. I am Cinti. I'm a host, I'm a presenter, I'm the Chief Enjoyment Officer. I like to have fun. So yeah, I'm just going to be passing on the mic around whilst the event goes ahead. So if you've got anything to say, please give me a shout. I want to hear your opinions. So get your opinions ready. We're going to get things started now. We've got the first podcast. Got these lovely ladies. They have their opinions on loud, as always. Always talk about current affairs. They give it up to the Aunties Could Never podcast.
I'm Auntie AK and I'm actually the mothering hen of the aunties. I'm the one that will hug you, make you feel better, but I'll be cussing you while I'm hugging you. I'm also the funniest and the lead singer of our music group behind the scenes. I am the lead vocalist.
Okay. I'm Auntie Farah, and I'm the auntie that swears a lot because I'm such a fucking lady. And I am also the auntie that will fuck you up with love. How that works.
I'm Auntie Nana. I am the original OG cool auntie. Also hate the government and generally a kind of on the bordering of a champagne socialist.
And I'm Auntie Sade. I'm very, very passionate about a lot of things, and I'm probably the one that's going to challenge everyone the most and call people out on their BS. And also, I'm the youngest as well, so.
She harps on about all the time.
She's still in her 40s.
Yeah, I just got here.
You're still here.
So look, we're your cool aunties. We're the aunties that you want to be around at the family party, and we're about to get into. Basically, it's where we get into what's going on in popular culture, what's got us talking and chatting and stuff like that, and some, you know, controversial topics sometimes. So I'm going to go into. I'm sure you have all heard about Jesy Nelson from Little Mix. Yeah, some of you all heard about her being accused of being a blackfish. And blackfishing is where someone who's not black kind of adopts a look and persona that is quite black and borrowing from the culture and over-exaggerating what they believe is black behaviour. So recently, Jesy Nelson from Little Mix, those of you who are Little Mix fans, she's left the group and she released a new song called Boys, which uses the very old school classical beat of the tune Bad Boys for Life by Diddy. The video is very hip-hop-esque and she does a bit of, you know, bad girl behaviour. And it's got featuring Nicki Minaj, that's a wonderful rapper, Leigh, and it's got a cameo from Diddy as well.
Explained it very well, actually.
That's what I'm saying. But anyway, so, I mean, you know, in the video she's been accused of visibly darkening her skin. To me, it looked like she had 30 packs of water wave weave on her head. And she was just, you know, adopting this kind of caricature, I believe. So I just wanted to get into it and say, what do we feel about Jesy Nelson? Is she blackfishing? And she has come out and said she appreciates black culture. She's grown up loving black culture and music. And she knows she's a British white woman, but this is what she knows. So how far wrong is she? Is she wrong, ladies, to, you know, be celebrating or appropriating the culture? What do you think about Jesy Nelson's recent outlook?
Well, I just think it's interesting that she loves that culture so much, but she didn't kind of speak to Leanne's troubles when she was talking about her experience in Little Mix and how she felt marginalised. And, you know, Jesy was basically silent. She wasn't in the documentary at all. She didn't comment on it. I think, I'm not sure if it was around that time, but she unfollowed her bandmates as well, kind of thing. So, you know, I get that people might not get on, but like if you love it so much and that was like a topic, then why didn't you say something? So I just think it's just pretty much telling. I just don't, yeah, it definitely feels like appropriation. It feels like she's just, I don't know, her and Nicki Minaj looked like they were the same colour. Yeah. It was just bizarre, to be honest. And I was just wondering, like, who is this track for? Who's this video for? Like, the majority of the guys, you know, the track's called Bad Boys. The majority of the guys in the video were black. like, what are you actually trying to say? Is this good for the culture? Probably not. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just think, yeah, we're kind of past this now. So why go back here? And she's like, she's 30 years old, you know. So yeah. So I think, you know, not to, she should know where we are. Do you know what I mean? She should know, in light of what's happened over the past, you know, year and a half. Like, she should know where we are. So I think it's a really massive faux pas on her part.
Guys, what do you rest of you think?
You know what? I don't think she cares. It's #1 in 30 countries at the moment.
Wow, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's doing very well. I think it's on 4.4 million views on YouTube as we speak.
That's Nicki though, isn't it?
Yeah. I was thinking that if Nicki wasn't in it, what would happen?
It would be dead in the water.
Do you think?
Yes, well, like massive.
No, Little Mix were massive, but let's be real, like Nicki doesn't really release much music nowadays.
And this is her first
So
big outing,
Nicki's
isn't
gonna, she did a little feature on something else, but if Nicki's gonna release something, it's gonna blow up. Okay, so for me, Jesy is very smart. She's got Nicki on the track, and she's probably paid an extraordinary amount of money to get Nicki on the track, right? Nicki is controversial in her own right. You know, like Nicki's audience look a certain way. Jesy's trying to separate herself from Little Mix. That's why she's come out and she's doing what she's doing. Is it blackfishing? Of course it is. Does she know that it's blackfishing? Of course she does. Like, she's not stupid. If you look at how she looked previously and how she looks now, there was a dramatic change. And there is also always that thing of when people leave groups, that when whoever is the first person to leave the group, they want to make themselves look so completely different to the group. And they go out and they do things that are, look at Zayn from One Direction. He came out, he didn't blackfish, but he came out and he was like doing R&B. Where One Direction was singing about, I don't even know what they were singing about.
Pop music.
Like,
Do you know what I'm saying? They were singing pop music. So it doesn't surprise me that it's all clever marketing. She knew what she was going to get. She came out and she made a statement saying that she loves black culture, blah, blah, blah. Her people got behind it and swept that statement away and said that she appreciates shit. Realistically, she didn't defend her bandmate when her bandmate was going through stuff. She didn't care because it wasn't to her benefit then. She's trying to strike out on her own. There's no negative press. All press is good press, and that's what they say, isn't it?
Yeah. As black people, we sell our own culture all the time, and we allow other people to appropriate our culture and back it. Because think of the two people, as you have said, Nicki Minaj co-signed this and has been added to the numbers, and then Diddy comes on.
Right.
So do I blame her? No, I don't. I actually blame the black people that were involved in it.
That's exactly what my point was going to be. I blame the people that endorsed it because our culture gets diluted and sold and appropriated with our endorsement, with some people in our community's endorsement. So Diddy is there because when I first watched the video, I was like, this is like Bad Boys for Life. And then lo and behold, here comes Diddy doing a whole skit. He's co-signed it. And then, you know, there's more to say, but let's see what you guys think. What do you think in the audience?
Who wants to say anything?
My hand's up. I agree with the lady in the yellow jumper.
That's Auntie Nana.
Auntie Nana.
Because we appropriate our own culture anyway, so to just blame it solely on Jesy, who probably is under music contract influence, as we saw in the Little Mix documentary. I think the girl Jade, isn't she? I never knew she was actually, was it half? Yeah, so they appropriated her and changed her image, so even if she wanted to, those contracts are, you have to do what they say, or that's your career in any future done. But you can't diss her, but then ignore the community itself that allows it to happen and appropriates the culture themselves. So
I think there's both of them.
But then,
that's what I think.
Because then it's like, then Jesy has no response. She doesn't take any responsibility. She's just this person who this thing has happened to. Like, her whole thing was just like, when I came out of the band, I wanted to be myself. And she's saying that this is herself. Is she alright?
As a black woman.
Maybe she does identify.
Maybe she's related to Rachel Dolezal.
If she does, then say that with your full chest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just lean into that if that's what you're saying. But it's just like this pretend game of like, oh, I didn't really know what I was doing. Oh, I really like black culture. Oh my god, like, but when it matters, you're not. You like the idea of blackness, but you don't like black people. That's what it kind of comes across as.
Absolutely.
And that's the problem that we face over and over again. So it's just, it's just a bit frustrating, I think.
We've got another opinion over here. I'm over here, guys.
Where are you? Can't
I'm
see.
here. Can you see me waving all the way at the back?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. So I didn't know if I wanted to say this because I didn't want to be controversial.
Go
But
ahead.
I want to be honest.
Don't.
As a 19-year-old, I just want to say that if you want to really take on black culture, I really want you to take on black culture. And by that, I don't just mean the good parts that you think is all attractive. I want you to think about, oh, how does it feel to be discriminated every day? How does it feel to be called a nigger a lot of the time?
Yeah.
How does it feel for you to be walking across the street helping a homeless person or helping an old person and then thinking you're doing something bad? I want you to stand on the streets and be stared at by a van full of police officers. That's what I want you to feel, because you can't just make yourself have all these black features and then still be getting white privilege all the time. It doesn't work like that. You have to have one or the other. Even mixed race people don't have both of them. So you can't just take that on and make money from it, because people have made money from our culture. From NWA days, they've been making money from our culture. And even they went through so much pain during those times. So you don't get the best of both worlds. So what I really think is that if you want to take on black culture, you need to take on the negatives that we unfortunately have to face on a daily basis. Not just the positives and make cheddar off it, because a lot of us out here are grinding all the time, but because of systematic racism, get stopped at a certain point, and we're sick of it, to be honest. But you never have that experience, so don't act like you're all about it and you love us, because we don't know what you say behind closed doors either.
Jesy, thank you for that. I completely agree. So Solid Cruz, Mega Man, has said on social, saying that labels will fork out mad money for a black credible artist to feature with any pop artist or bands. Since my time in the music industry, it's hardly been the same level with UK singers, pop bands who aren't white. Many reasons why, but it's something to think about. He goes on to say, because people have been defending Jesy, he said, well, the fact is Leanne was part of Little Mix. Little Mix, and you men, because there's a lot of men who are defending Jesy, by the way, have a short memory or didn't give a flying F about her feeling like an outcast by her other members. Nene, an artist, says, black male and females who want to do R&B are told unequivocally that it doesn't sell to the white masses. This is a fact, don't argue with me, so we have to find alternatives, i.e. house, dance and garage. Name me one black UK female, past and present singer who's been allowed to do straight up R&B without being watered down. Given huge budgets, American collaborators, co-signs, all the trimmings. Just one piece, I'll wait. She said Estelle, Floetry, LMA, Jay Sean, to name a few, all had to relocate to America for the Americans to sell us back to us. So, you know.
I've got another opinion over here.
Go.
I agree with Auntie Farah. It's a business for her. She's just looked at the Cheryl Cole kind of like model, and she's just communicating that.
Wow. I mean, it plays out.
Cheryl Cole, Miley Cyrus, there's a lot of them. Like even Pink. Like,
no, it really is Pink.
Pink killed it.
Pink killed it, because the thing is, the only thing that I will give to Pink is that when she came out, she was told to do that by Babyface, and it's not necessarily what she wanted to do. And then her second album, she came out and did something different. But they know what sells, and that's what they use. And Jessy's no different.
It's the same thing as Pink, because when I was reading through the comments, there are so many people in America that they're watching what we're saying, the British contingency, and being like, what she isn't mixed. And that's exactly how we were when we found out that Pink wasn't black. It was like, what? She's white. Like, she didn't know.
Rita Ora.
Yeah, exactly.
Go
that
on.
took ages.
Yeah.
It really is like Rita Ora, because that took a while before it even came out that she was our baby.
Yeah.
Because we all just, she looked so mixed.
Did you guys think she was? Sorry, go ahead.
Can I ask you guys something? So, the Rita Oras, like you guys said, it's the same thing. Everybody has spoken about it, but do you feel like at this moment when it comes to Jesy Nelson that people are dogpiling a little bit because they didn't like her before anyways? Or is it just...
Could be some of that.
Because someone made a very fair comment, and it was Vaz, that's it, Vaz, what's his name? Vaz Morgan. Yeah. He made a very fair comment, and he said, just because I'm talking to you and wanting you to be held accountable for your actions doesn't mean that I'm bullying you. It's not the same thing. To say to somebody, what you're doing is wrong, and it is appropriation. It's not the same as saying to someone, you're ugly, you're this, you're that. It's not the same thing. It's holding someone accountable. So they are two separate elements. You can hold someone accountable for their actions without actually bullying them, and I don't think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You've got another opinion over here.
Hi, sorry, very nervous, lovely. I totally agree. I think if she does, if you want to appreciate culture, you give back to that culture, to the community. I think you are sorry. Yeah, I feel like if you appreciate culture, you should always give back to that culture. Like if you know you're copying it, give it back to the black community, help out, or highlight the causes. I've never seen Jesy actually highlight Black Lives Matters and all what was going on, especially with Leanne. So if you're copying, do it in the right way. It's nice to appreciate. I love cultures, you know. I'm all about the different cultures and everything. But I always give back to the communities what matters in my heart. And if you're not doing that, then you're clearly basically stealing from that culture. And you need to pay it back. It's a form of stealing.
Absolutely. Like the gentleman over there said, you can't appreciate on one hand and not give back and live the experience. Because it's very easy for her to now step away and say, oh, actually, I didn't realise
Like what
that.
Pink did, she went rock. And then Miley Cyrus, when she had her wild phase, which was the black phase, then she went to doing her pop stuff.
And then said she didn't like R&B.
Yeah, and it's like wearing us as a jacket. No, we're not that. Absolutely not. Shall we move on?
Yes.
Auntie Farah, what have you heard?
Alright, so I'm going to talk about this new 888 number that that Mrs. our favourite Brie Patel has come out and backed. So 888 is a number that they're saying that women, vulnerable women, if you're feeling like you're in a situation where you think you're going to be attacked, or you want someone to track your every move to make sure that you get home safe. It's a government scheme, and they're coming out with BT, and they're bringing out this new app that you can download, and you can have it on your phone so that it will send a message to your emergency contacts if you don't get home when it predicts that you should get home. Now, so my thing is, there are lots of apps out there that already do this. So someone by the name of David Chappell, who has campaigned to free his mother, who suffered a lifetime abuse from her husband, he's basically said, stop restricting women's freedom to accommodate male violence. And that is kind of like where I'm at with this. Why should it be that we have an app to help us, in inverted commas, be safe, why are they investing this money to help us in that and not investing money in teaching young boys what is actually the problem with some of the things that some of them are doing? This is my question to you. Like, what is the deal? Why don't they invest in educating young boys rather than in restricting women?
I mean, yeah, I think they should absolutely do that, but I think it's not just young boys either, you know what I mean? I think it's just widespread. It's just how, like when you have like the chief of police endorsing it, when you have like Boris Johnson endorsing it, do you know what I mean? He's a grown man that's running a bloody country and he thinks this is a good fucking idea. It's insane. It's just actually insane that, okay, if I'm feeling vulnerable, I've got to text the number. Like, do you know what I mean? How about don't rape me? Like, how about don't try and hurt me? Like, how about that, like, instead? It's just freaking ridiculous. I just think it just shows the state of where we are, really, and it's just ongoing. It feels like, does anyone watch
Handmaid's Tale?
Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
You see how that starts?
Very subtle.
This is what it feels like. It feels fucking surreal. If I'm scared, I must text the number for you to track. And also as well, you're part of my privacy as well. Then you're actually tracking me, and then you're normalizing you tracking me.
Yeah.
Like it's just a weird scenario. And then even just to add on that just a little bit, like chief of police was saying that if you feel in danger with a cop that's on their own, that you should run or hail a bus.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That is very weird. Hail a bus, because buses stop at not bus stops, right? Have you tried to hail a bus not at a bus stop? Does it stop for you? Doesn't, does it?
It's not even that. Have you tried to run away from a police officer?
Well, there's
Right.
that.
You know, because I'm black, I can run away, and nothing will happen. You know, it's fine.
These people that are making these rules or making these apps or pushing these things, they live in a bubble. It's just not reality. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if someone in the cabinet, partner, cousin, or something owns that app company, and he's going to make a hell of a lot of money by people endorsing it. That's what I think this is. It's just a farce.
Anyone else want to say anything in the audience?
Would you use the app? Is anyone out here think it's a good thing to use?
Let's hear from a man.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
I'm Tom. I'm a content producer. I do documentaries and stuff. And in this topic that we're talking about now, about this app, I strongly believe it's someone's side business that they're trying to create. It's not going to protect you. As a man, I would say, join the gym, learn a bit of karate, beat them up in case they attack you.
Hang on. Did you say join the gym?
And it's learn karate. Didn't say how I speak to my fellow brethren. Now go on.
Yeah, but to be honest, all this is not only with women. If they want to introduce that, it should be able to track men as well. Because you know, we all know that there's some men who have been attacked by their wives in houses.
Oh, very true.
So if they want to introduce this to us, it has got to be for everyone. You know, there's some streets I can't walk. I'm scared. So why can't it track me? Why is it that it's only done for grace?
Just to clarify, it's not just for women. They are saying that anyone who feels vulnerable can use the app.
I wouldn't use it because
What I want to know from men in the room.
well, the reason why I wouldn't use it,
Yeah.
the police will track me down.
Exactly.
Yeah, so no, I'm safe.
So you want us to use it then, or?
No, I don't want you to use it. You like, I'm a Christian, okay? I strongly believe that God gave us that sense of security. You know when times are wrong.
Okay. Yeah,
there's a guy there.
Sorry, Tom. We saved you, don't worry.
So I think the problem is men need to start standing up and talking to men.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
This whole locker room banter going on, like, oh, I'd bash her, I'd do this, I'd do that, using violence, it's fucked up, yeah? Staring at women as they walk down the street, no. You need to call out your friends on this, and this is the problem. Men aren't doing that, and men aren't listening to women that are telling us what they're scared of. What we shouldn't tell you, oh, you've got to carry your keys in your hands, you've got to dress and not look like a woman, you know? This shouldn't be anything like that. It should be, men, just don't rape or beat up women, you know?
I'd like to ask the men in the room, thank you for that. Like, what would you feel, maybe from school or from wherever you were raised, what kind of things do you think needs to change as well, like as a society? Because obviously, yes, there's a banter, but I think we need to implement some sort of education, because women, we get told from a very young age, don't wear short skirts, don't walk down alleyways, don't drink. But I want to be able to walk with my butt cheeks out, drunk and lean, down an alleyway without feeling like a man's going to rape me. There might be other dangers, but why does it have to be that I have to do all the things? What kind of things do you guys think, as men in the room, what kind of tools do you need to be taught? What can change in society to help you understand that? I'll go to you first, and then we'll go to you.
First of all, I just want to say it's really interesting to hear you guys your insights towards these issues that keep on reoccurring. First of all, I'd like to say it goes down to how children are raised. You see, these situations occur when fathers aren't, doing the role that they're supposed to do, and telling their son when to respect a woman's body and to respect their decisions. When a woman says no, you have to respect that, you have to abide by that. I also think it's down to the government as well. Personally, I feel like the government doesn't care. I feel like a lot of these people, they don't care at all, so they come up with these agendas to show that they actually care, like creating an app that tracks your location in case you're in danger. If they really care, they do something about it. They create modules and courses for kids to learn about. They implement these things onto the school system, but the system is outdated. You're not taught about personal development. You're not taught about how to respect someone else. You're taught about English, maths, just like factory setting works. Just to work for some boss. By the time you're in your 20s, and until you die. So I think it goes down to like how people. It's more the culture itself. The culture in this country is lacking a lot of respect. People don't have respect. They feel like they have to have this mindset where they have to go and take what's theirs to boost their ego. There's a lot of greed breed that breeds within a lot of people here, which causes a lot of conflict. And
wow. Thank you very much.
What he said.
You've got another opinion?
Yeah. I think you have to remember, one of the things you really have to remember is Boris Johnson himself, the man that is Boris Johnson, and the things that he has said and he has done in the history of his politics, right? Which are very, the British public have been very quick to forget the sexism, the racism, all that sort of thing. And so, how can he stand up and say this is wrong when these are things he's probably been guilty of himself, right? So first of all, you're looking from a top-down point of view. Some men will look at Boris Johnson and see the things he said and done, and it tells you, because he's standing in the position he is, that doing those things is okay, right? So holding people accountable at a certain level to their actions, right? So that when they are guilty of certain things, they actually go through due process in the justice system. I think there's also, it's quite multi-layered, right? Because it has to happen in multiple places at once, you know, from the home, whether that's mothers and fathers, teaching kids about, I'd say empathy. Empathy is the thing I always go back to, is like, if I'm gonna treat a woman in a certain way, I'm not thinking of how she will be feeling in the way that I'm treating her. So if we start empathizing, understanding the impact of our actions more as men, like whether that's staring, whether it is inappropriate comments, whether it's like slapping bums, things like that, it's like, how would you feel if that was you? How would you feel if that was you every day, all the time? Because when we start to empathize with people, we're like, oh, actually, that would feel horrible. Or it's just simply stopping and thinking for ourselves. It's like a lack of self-awareness of understanding other people and their experience. I think it's a big part of it. And like schools as well, you know, teachers, there's a whole overhaul, because we've had generations of this sort of behavior being okay, right? Like, it's been, the media kind of perpetuates some of it by the way they speak about women constantly, they objectify women constantly. So it's like, we need to really look at as a society how we talk and how we treat women, and teaching men that it's not like they can run amok and women have to run away from them. But it's like, you need to start learning to be aware of your own urges and knowing what's right and wrong and how that affects other people.
Thank you very much.
Again, what he said.
Well said. All right, on to the next. Auntie Nana.
Oh, okay, right. So, I'm hoping that some of you have watched Dave Chappell's latest piece on Netflix, which is called, I think it's called Closer.
The Closer or The Closer? The
Closer, yeah. And the controversy around that, because his piece really does centre on the trans community, and also that taboo subject of like nobody really wants to talk about or ask questions that lots of us have. Like, you would like to pose these questions to people in the trans community to just kind of understand what they're going through, and also relay as women how we can feel kind of sidelined, marginalised by what they want as their rights to freedoms, which could impact on our freedoms as well. So really my question to you guys, if you've watched any of it, but also if you have any burning questions that you would like to relay to the trans community, and maybe we can kind of like discuss that. What are the questions that what's the dialogue points that we kind of want to discuss with them? And where can we meet and see our human experiences and move forward?
I watched the documentary. I've kind of watched it and listened to it. And I am a huge fan of Dave Chappell. And I think he does touch on, he has said things that I have agreed with. And I think I do agree with in his documentary. However, I definitely think it's very difficult when, you know, the terminology is cisgendered, or if you're, I don't know, it's very difficult to find the right words to say now, so you don't offend anyone. And so it's navigating how to speak, what to say, and to ask questions without being accused of being a TERF, transphobic, homophobic, and things like that. Makes it very difficult to have a very fair and equal conversation, I think. And the things that he's saying, I get it. It's like, for me as a black woman, I feel that the hierarchy of criticism goes possibly Jewish people, people from the LGBTQ community, maybe white women, then maybe white men, and then at the bottom of it is black people, or a free-for-all. And maybe if you're not a black person, you might feel like I can't say anything and I get called a racist. But for us living the experience as being black people, our issues and agendas is way low down on the and it might cause a little bit of a social media storm, but actually affecting legal change, our issues aren't dealt with in the same way. So that's where I'm a bit stuck and feel like I'm strangled to say something without being accused. But I mean, I've got LGBTQ people in my family. I know a few trans people, and so I would never want to eradicate their feelings, because it's that thing. As a woman, as a black woman, there are people who are not of my gender or my community can never tell me how I feel. If someone says something racist, no one outside that can tell me why that's not racist. It was racist to me, and that's it. You don't have a license to talk about that. So similarly, it's quite difficult to tell a trans person how they feel about Dave Chappell's particular line of comedy or line of commentary. However, being a heterosexual woman or born woman, I hear what he's saying when you feel like you can't say anything without exploring it, without feeling like you're offending someone. And there are some legitimate concerns about this space that I think we have the right to talk about. I think J.K. Rowling has also been cancelled, in quotes, for her comments. And I read her article, and there were points that she made that are quite fair, that there are young people who are being not encouraged, who maybe feel that they're not in the right body, and so they get supported into transitioning. And there's a real conversation about those who want to change back, because they were young people who have lots of hormones going on and issues, and actually what they needed was therapy. What they needed was actually some time to figure it out, because we do go through so many emotions in those young formative years. But to say that, then someone might say that you're being insensitive to the trans cause. And if people start saying, well, if someone feels in their body that they want to change, and we're saying, no, you have to wait till you're 16, you have to wait till you're 18, you have to wait till you're 21 before you can do anything, then you're diminishing their rights. I just think it's so weighty, Aunties.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, because you don't, like Auntie AK saying, and you don't want to say the wrong thing, you don't want to offend people, and being from a marginalised group, we know how it feels to be offended. So you don't want to inflict that on someone. I think it's just difficult when you can't just have that open conversation without being condemned, I guess. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. Like it's just I think what do I want to know? Oh God. I think, oh God, really putting it out there. But I think I would want to know why it's so important for trans women in particular to use the term woman when they could use the term trans woman. And I just want to know, that's what I want to know, because I don't really fully understand. If you're living your truth, and your truth is that you're trans, why don't you just use that term? That's what I struggle with understanding. I want to know more, and I'm trying, like I'm following, maybe I'm not trying hard enough, but I'm following a few people on social media, do you know what I mean, kind of thing, and trying to learn more in the ways that I guess I learn and stuff. But yeah, because I'm very, as a woman, I'm very much aware of that. Our issues are kind of being pushed to the side, and as we're all saying, I guess, do you know what I mean? As black women, we're I hate to even say it, but we're kind of at the bottom of the pile. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like white women's issues come first, then everybody else, and then us. Do you know what I mean? And like most of the time, when black women in particular galvanize and bring forth change, it helps everybody. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like, we're not being listened to, and sometimes our causes are hijacked and stuff, but now it's just like we've kind of been taken over. It's like a two-pronged attack. Yeah. It's kind of thing. That's how it feels, and like that's genuinely sometimes how it feels. But I feel like there's space for everybody, for sure. Do you know what I mean? And it's not about diminishing someone's experience or anything like that, but I think like we need to be a bit more, because the thing is, it's hard to get this out, but what I don't want to do is start agreeing with bigots. Exactly. Right? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't want to do that, because it really isn't that. So like sometimes when let's say Piers Morgan might say something like controversial but kind of hits a note, you're just like, oh, why am I in this space? Like, I shouldn't be agreeing with this guy, he's mad. Do you know what I mean?
It's that broken clock thing.
But I think that you've hit the nail on the head with that, because for me, what it is that I find that the media wants to pit us against each other.
Right, yeah.
So they create these differences, whereas really and truly we're trying to get to the same point.
Yeah.
So they make it seem like an issue as a black woman is different for an issue as a trans woman. And there are differences, but we don't need to be pit against each other. Right. And it's like they make it seem like only one will survive. This is not Hunger Games. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. There's like lots of different experiences and things like that. But because of the way that the media project it, we feel like our voices aren't being heard. So then we will speak up against someone else's true self and their experience, because we feel like people are coming for us. And that's not necessarily the case. But that's why it's important for us to have open conversations where we can ask them questions and they can ask us questions. Yes. But you're absolutely right. You feel like, oh, I don't know if I can say that. But we can say that. You know, like when we had Lady Phil on our show recently, and she gave us a lot of good points and a lot of good places that we could go to find out information and people that we could actually, you know, have open conversations with. And I think that as long as those avenues are there and people aren't afraid to say what they need to say, then we will get to a point where everyone's voice is being heard. But it doesn't help when you do have people like the man that you just said who will remain nameless.
Auntie, no, raise the point.
The other question I have, though, is do you guys think that Dave Chappell is a genius? Is the GOAT?
I love Dave Chappell. I think that he is funny, and I think that he's very good at... he talks about everybody. That's what it is. You know, he's in a interracial relationship. He talks about that. He's got... I hate when people say, I've got friends that are gay. He's got friends from different walks of life, and he talks about that.
Auntie AK blatantly said that.
I know she did.
No, I blatantly said I have gay friends. I have friends who trans me. I do, but it's that kind of establishing some sort of empathy when you say that, but some people use it as an excuse.
That's it. Some people do use it as an excuse, and I suppose that's what a lot of people are looking at Dave Chappelle and saying that just because you have these relationships with these people doesn't give you carte blanche to just say whatever the fuck you want to say.
He's a genius.
But he is funny. That's the problem. But there's been a lot of funny racists.
There you go.
Yeah,
Jim Davison was once a genius, wasn't he?
I mean, I do like Dave Chappelle. I think he's one of the greatest comics for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that what he's very good at is invoking conversation, basically. So that's what, and his observation and his take on it is just kind of second to none. I don't think I've watched anything of his or been to a show where I haven't left thinking, oh, that's a different angle to look at things. And I think you need people like that in the world to kind of push conversations and push things forward. You might not agree with what he's saying. Do you know what I mean? You just might not agree with what he's saying at all. And sometimes, you know what I mean? I don't agree with everything he's saying. He's pretty sexist as well, actually.
Yeah.
And watching the Dave Chappelle show on Netflix, watching that back is insane. I don't know how he got away with those shows. It's actually insane. But yeah, I think he pushes the envelope, and you need that.
You do, but there are like so sometimes comedians will say that, oh, I'm not allowed to be free, I'm not allowed to be a comic anymore because I'm not allowed to talk about these sort of things. And I feel like there are times when he
pushes the line.
But do you know who else does that? Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, Ricky
Gervais is very good at like invoking a conversation and pushing the boundaries of what you think. And I think I like people that challenge how I think.
So it comes to my final point on it, and you brought it round brilliantly. I do think there is a license and comedians are allowed to do this, but I find that black comedians are very quickly cancelled when they do push this space. And Ricky Gervais says some shocking things and he doesn't seem to get that cancellation tag. And though I don't find Kevin Hart that funny in any way, shape or form, but the fact that a joke that he said such a long time ago cost him the Oscars, and also Eddie Murphy has also had to battle back and forth, but there were so many white comedians at the same time doing racist jokes, homophobic jokes, that didn't suffer the same type of backlash. I think when he said, you know, can you have a gay person who is white and racist, I got his thread of thought where he was taking the comedy lines of you so want to cancel me, you want to like remove this from Netflix, you want to cancel my livelihood. And that to me is a form of racism that overtakes actually what he's saying about the trans community, like opening up that dialogue. I think that cancel culture is it's spread about all the time. There are points where people do need to be cancelled criminally, like you need to be removed. But sometimes when you have an artist just expressing thought, I don't think they should be cancelled on that. And it seems to be really easy to do that to black people.
I've got an opinion over here.
Go ahead.
Kind of like Auntie Nana just stole everything I was going to say. But basically, I think Dave Chappell is really, really in a very unique, like, historical point of view because of what he's done over 20 years or how many ago when he left everything and walked away. What I feel he's trying to demonstrate is that he's not being controlled by the industry and he's pushing the boundaries of everything. And he's looking really hard to see what can he push, like Auntie Nana was saying, that will really tip over and get the dialogue going and the conversation going. So he wants to be cancelled. He really wants you to see how far can you push before he will not. How, you know, what is his price? Like, what is his price and what's the price that people are willing to pay? Because like you said, there's the Jewish community, there's the LGBTQ plus community, and it goes down. And people are very nervous. Even how you pose the question about the LGBT, the whole conversation, Dave, was a bit different from the other way of the question, because you're kind of like nervous, you're treading the ground of what is sensible, what will not go out on YouTube and then be TikTok with like,
I mean, we're just starting, we don't want to get cancelled straight away. Exactly. We've got next week lawyers.
Exactly, take that snippet and then he's using that, and I think him specifically, definitely is in a very unique position. I think history is going to show where it takes us moving forward.
Thank you very much. And Auntie Charlotte, or do you want a final point? Or
No. I was just going to say, so my kind of like, I guess it's like a question to everybody. Has everyone watched Squid Games?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Friggin' loved it. If
Red
you
light,
haven't,
green
there
light.
might be spoilers, I can't lie. So mine is a really fun question. If you was the front man in Squid Games, designing the game, which game would you have?
Oh my God. I would have. Ooh, what game would I have? Do you know what's in my first thing that came? I heard someone say, I think Kiss Chase. I don't know how it would work. I don't even know why. That's the first thing that came to my head.
Kiss Chase.
And then do you guys remember? I don't. Okay, God, it's niece and nephews because you're all 4 years old, I suppose. There was a French elastic. I don't know elastic.
Jingle Jangle.
Yeah, the game. One of the games was called Jingle Jangle, but the whole thing was like elastic. I don't know what we all called the game. Would you get the elastic and you had to kind of Jingle Jangle, Centre Spangle, Jingle Jangle out.
Yeah.
You had England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales.
Yeah.
And then you had to kind of go up the leg.
That was wicked. Yeah.
Had the elastic around your leg. So somehow that would be the game. What the consequence would be, and if you, I suppose if you tripped up, you get shot. Basically, and that's it. And then Kiss Chase, I don't know what if you didn't get kissed, you get shot, or if you
get the kiss.
The kisser should get shot.
The kisser should get. I don't know how it would work. But somehow what happened?
If you catch the person and kiss them, then
hide and seek.
Die.
Oh yeah, so you catch them and kiss them and kill them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh wow.
So basically, for the first time, not being kissed is a winning thing. Altifara.
Good old fashioned had you're it. Like, you know, if I catch you, dead. That's it. Simple things. That's it.
Shit, I have no games in my head. Like, I'm really like, what did I play? There was just had and stuff like that.
What, blackjack? A game of
blackjack.
Yeah, actually, there was no card games in
but
there.
can I tell you something? You know what would be difficult if you did blackjack? Is the queen a slag? Is she?
But I'm setting it. It's blackjack, and queen is an absolute slag.
She's a slag.
Everything goes on top of her.
Everything goes on. All man goes on.
Yeah. A card game, definitely, because there was no card games in it. But I also like that licking game as well. So I want
those cutting out the shape.
The honeycomb one,
yeah.
Cutting out the shape.
What about musical chairs?
Do you remember that musical?
Musical chairs.
That would be
musical chairs.
That would get so violent.
Would be amazing. Can you
I'd be
imagine?
like, get on my chair.
Musical, but if you did that, you get shot.
Yeah.
Musical chairs?
No, because they let you get rowdy though.
They let you fight.
They let
No,
you
but that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
but then you'd be killing it. Yeah, musical
So
chairs.
the person who doesn't
Musical
have the
chairs.
chair will get shot.
Yeah, they'll get shot.
Yeah.
But they,
Yeah.
But they,
I think both. If you're violent and try and take a chair, you get shot. If you miss a chair, you get shot. That's a round where bare people would die.
Yeah, lots of people.
Wait.
And if I take 2 seats
Parcel,
away at
parcel.
a time,
Yeah.
pass the parcel.
Nothing parcel, parcel.
Auntie Charlie, you do your one.
I think either rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors, yeah.
Quick
That'd be good.
elimination game, quick elimination. Or what was the other one I was thinking? I was thinking pat ball. I don't know if you guys do pat
What,
ball.
up the wall?
You pat the ball.
Up the wall,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
I don't know.
Against the
Yeah.
wall, that sort of thing. Red Rover is kind
What's
of like...
Red Rover?
Red Rover?
Red Rover. I call my friend over.
Who do you call over?
And you
No.
call someone over and then
Sorry,
you have
what?
to...
That must be an 80s
You,
thing.
you gotta like bust through
Yeah.
the like you hold hands and you
No.
gotta bust through the
Now let's
whole
play it
hand
now.
thing.
How do you do it? Sorry, no, how do you do it?
That's literally,
It just
you
sounds
hold
long.
hands, somebody
Hold
has to
hands.
run towards you and you gotta hold them.
Yeah.
If they
They're not
bust
allowed to... If
through,
they bust
they
through,
break your
then they can...
hands.
Yeah, they can play it.
So who gets shot? The break-handers or the
No,
person
because
who
you
runs
have
through?
to win, you have to get to the other side.
Yeah, you gotta break through. So if you don't get break through, you get
So
shot.
whoever
Okay.
gets, maybe there's a time limit, and whoever doesn't get through in a certain time, then they all die.
Young gentleman over there, what?
Sorry, can I just
okay.
ask somebody, if you've ever played tug of war and you've watched that, does that technique work? Because I want to do this on a
you don't want to
games night.
break your back or doing
What,
all
the
that.
going back? But does it work?
It
if
must
it works,
I think so.
It sounds like a...
Sorry.
This guy has his hand up first, right? Okay.
They actually do a tug of war like world championships. So in that if they were actually going by like the rules of the game, there's like a ton of them, so they wouldn't have actually been allowed to. So like there's like this one where what you could have done, you could have actually held the rope but pulled it down into your core, so you would have held you steady, but you wouldn't be allowed to do certain rules. So if they actually kept it by the rules of the game, they would have been killed anyway.
Okay.
But like Wink Murder would be a good game. So it's like, so for the person that's actually trying to take everyone out, they could play strategically to try and get rid of all the strong people. But then it's also forcing the others to be a team to try and figure it out. But if they're on a time limit, then they can also
Do you know what would have been a good game as well? Seesaw. Because because think about it, no one knows what it is. Like you see the game when they did like the tug of war one, and they were like, oh, let's get all the men. I was thinking in my head, what if they got on what if it was a seesaw? Because like whoever is up or whoever is down, the lightest person. Yeah. Like, you picked wrong. You die.
That's all sorts of discrimination.
Yeah, but it was discrimination with them picking man.
Yeah, true.
So, like, my thing is like seesaw. You don't know what you're going to get. Let's do the seesaw.
There we go.
Who's in the air?
Wow.
I just got a question for you guys. I just think about a game on the spot. So if it was a skipping marathon, and the one that trips up or whatever gets shot, who out of you guys would last longer?
Me, last longest. I would. You see, when people think that they play everything.
I'm the most athletic.
I think Farah would.
Thank you.
Why? Why would you go against?
I'm lost in.
But have you seen her skip though?
Like, great.
Lads, I'm lost in.
But have you skipped? When was the last time you
skip
skipped?
all day long.
You don't skip
I
all day long.
do skip. How
When
dare
did you
you?
last skip?
I skipped about 2 weeks ago because
you
I got a
didn't.
rope in my house. Yes, I did.
No, you don't skip.
What are you talking about?
Never
I've got a
skipped.
rope.
When did you skip?
It's got a timer on it.
What skip?
Counts the
I never seen. You never showed me your
I have a
skip.
child who's 8 and we skip.
I've got a skip.
You ain't got a skip.
I've got a skip.
When was the last time you skipped?
Yesterday.
Lies and propaganda.
No, it's true. Hold on.
Lies.
Yes, I would have, because I'm the most athletic. Okay. I did
The
hurdles.
truth is, I would probably. I'm
You're
fine
out,
to die.
you're out,
So
you're out.
Yeah, Auntie Nana's always fine to die.
I'm
She's
fine
not
to die,
fighting.
but I'm not making it really. 'Cause I do have a skipping rope when we were doing when we was waking up early and doing exercise.
Oh, yeah.
And I tried to skip and I only
That's what
got
I'm
to 10. Okay.
1, 2, 3. Aunties know best.
They don't.
Aunties know best. Yes, we do. Aunties know best.
Before you ladies go, I just wanted to ask you ladies a quick question. If anyone wanted to start a podcast here today, what tips do you have for them?
Just do it, like I did. I think if you have an idea, try it out. I think there's nothing. Do you know what? That is my word. Just do it. Think about what you want to do. Have a bit of a plan about your idea. The resources are there. We record over Zoom. There's lots of platforms that you can then put your content out on. You have to just do it and figure out along the way. Think about who your audience is, who you want to speak to, what your core points are. You can't be easily swayed, and like for 1 week is about cats, the next week is about politics. Think about who you are, what it is, and what you want out there, and just do it. Listen to lots of other podcasts if you really are coming to it blind. Listen to them, watch them. There's loads of resources out there, and just do it. I don't know, Aunties, if you want to add to that. It really is.
She doesn't work for Nike, by the way.
I don't.
She's shamelessly plugging.
No, I'm not. You lot brought up Nike, you know. It's the power of marketing. You
I
can't
just
say
think
those words.
consistency.
Yeah,
right?
consistency.
So we've been doing this. We started this in lockdown, and we've literally maybe only missed 2 weeks. Like we've literally been and we have all got businesses in terms of like we're all entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And have side hustles with our daytime job, but either or that kind of thing.
Wow,
So
boss lady.
yeah, so
Oh,
it's
yeah,
possible.
most
It's possible to do it if you're passionate about it. Then you'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Love it. And where can everyone find you on the socials?
So, we are on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and just by look for Your Aunties Could Never. Like,
And our website.
And our website,
Yeah.
yourauntiescouldnever.co.uk. Yeah, we're everywhere.
We go live at 5 o'clock every Tuesday, and we are live on Facebook and YouTube, so you can find us there, and you can watch all our old shows on YouTube as well.
And you can listen back to our podcast on most listening platforms.
Amazing. Let's give it up for Aunties.
You guys have been amazing, by the way.
Does everybody still